Welcome to the Rack of the Week 161. You guys know the routine. My followers on Patreon and YouTube are getting access to my vlog where I talk about my struggles to run 200. Some good insights coming out there. They're also getting previews of my upcoming video about speed control. That's coming together well. So let's get into the rack. This was during my run of 103. And as you can see, I've got a brake ball that's pretty close to the rack, and I've got a pretty sharp inside angle. Now, if for whatever reason, I had the same angle over here, I'd really be looking at a follow stroke with very little fear. Nice, powerful follow stroke. But in the past, I'm kind of afraid of this one because your cue ball can carom off of this corner ball as it comes loose and just head for a scratch. So I'm kind of afraid of the follow stroke. I shouldn't be. If you get a good top spin, a good amount of topspin on that cue ball, you should be able to get it to the bottom rail, but I'm still afraid of it, and I'm hitting this ball full. And so instead, I'm just going to shoot below center, and I think we're going to see the cue ball go to the side rail, and that's how I want to control the cue ball in this instance. Yeah, just like that. Might have even had some draw on that, but you saw the cue ball definitely headed straight off that ball right to the side rail. This is okay. I got a little fortunate that I've got two balls in front of the side pockets. Even if I didn't, I've got a shot on the 11 or this one ball. I'm talking about the fact that the cue ball went all the way up table. Let's do a little bit of rack analysis. I'm using the little donuts, and I hit the center of the rack with a good stroke, a full ball hit on the rack ball. And for that reason, the ball's separated. So we're not dealing with any kind of re-break situation. When that happens, boy, you're just looking at another 14 points. And that's kind of how you want to think about it in your mind. And so I'm talking about paths to pockets. That's one of the keys to straight pool. In our rack analysis, we're going to see that one of these balls is very, very likely going to be our break shot into the next rack. The 9 ball is an okay key ball for that. It's not great. If it was over here, it would be great, and I might work hard to preserve it. But where the 9 ball is, it isn't great because you got to draw back and get your speed control right to get a good angle on that break shot, or bounce off the rail and come out. So it's just a tiny bit more risk, but we're trying to minimize risks like that when we're playing straight pool. So if that's not my key ball to get on one of these balls as a break shot, then what is? I like a ball, as you know, along the rail on the side of the break shot, because then you can get an angle and go 2 rails out. That's a very reliable route. And possibly the 8 ball could function as that. But I'm looking at these balls, and I've talked about this in several Rack of the Weeks recently, as pivot balls. And so if I can get an angle like this on one of these balls that's along the center axis of the table, that ball goes in this corner. The cue ball, you can either draw straight up, go to the rail and out, or if you're straight on it, you can follow 2 rails and out. And so I'm probably leaning more towards that. There's no specific plan yet because there's still 14 balls on the table. And I'm going to shoot the easiest ball. Obviously, I could shoot the 11. I could shoot the 9, so maybe it's not the easiest ball. But I'm keeping the 9 just in case I might need it. So I'm going to go rail first, tap in the 1, and then see what develops from there. See if I can predict what I'm going to do. I've got to take a break, so we're going to skip ahead to when I come back. And I'm back. And so I went over to the other side of the table and took a look because I want position on the 8 ball. I don't have any problems in this rack per se, because once the 14 balls moved, all 3 of these balls go in this pocket. And that's one of the things, when you look at paths to pockets, that's where we get the idea of blocker balls. We want to remove balls that block other balls' path to the pocket. And so when this 14's gone, these 3 balls will go. And that tells me I don't need to be crashing into these balls. I'm going to try and run this rack with minimal cue ball contact with other balls. But I went ahead and rolled forward because from here, it's really simple to, I've got a healthy angle on this, to tap the 8 ball in and let the cue ball run into the 14. The 14 should hit the 13 and nudge the 10 loose. It's real soft. Possibly the 14 would hit the 13 and go this way, and then it becomes a break ball as well. But the cue ball's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to have a shot on the 12 or on this 11 back here. So just a 0 risk shot. Insurance balls everywhere. Just tap that 14. Try and hit that 14 full on the bottom, nice and soft. Oh, not even that hard, I don't think. But that kind of opened things up. And now you got to look at paths to pockets again. I have a break ball with one of these balls, but they block each other. So I'm looking for paths to pockets, and that also means, does the 14 go here right now? Because if it does, that opens the 13 as a break shot. I've already opened these 3 into this pocket. So we're looking at paths to pockets. Everything has a pocket now. Everything can go. And that's the reason why here you do not shoot the 8, 10, or 12. You shoot the 14. I think most straight pool players are going to agree. In this instance, that is the correct shot. And I'm not trying to do a lot right there. I think what I've decided, now the reason why I moved the cue ball up there, I could have played a stop shot and shot the 12 next, but I'm already thinking ahead to the end of the rack, okay? You'll see that in a second. I need to get the cue ball over here behind this wall of balls. I went ahead and removed one ball that was blocking access to the 9. And so now, and then it's just simple position on the 10. But now the rest of the table's unweighted. There's too many balls on this side. But the point is, I need to get in here to get access to this shooting gallery. And I have balls over there that I could use to do that, or I can try to get position now. So I'm playing position on more than one ball. Right now, I'm trying to get position on that 2 ball. I think that I hit that a little bit of soft. I should have made sure to come way over here, because I'm going to have a shot on the 9 or the 8 if I don't get good position. But I definitely have good position on the 8 ball, and so I just draw back, and I'll shoot probably the 7 or the 3 next. I got a little bit close to my work. But here's the key point where I'm. You see me taking some time here. I'm thinking. Now everything is solved, and I'm planning the end pattern in a specific fashion. And it's kind of interesting, the choices that I made here, because I would have done it differently. Even a month ago, I would have shot this differently. I might have left both of these balls, and I might have shot well, actually, that's close to what I'm going to do. What I might have done is shot the 11 to come back out center table, because then you can clear the 9 and the 8 and the 6 to get on these balls. But I've mentioned in the past that, for example, if you have 2 key balls into the side pocket, you need to get rid of them, one of them early, because they don't generally lead one to the other. You want to get rid of one so that you have a definitive K2 connecting to a key ball. And it's kind of the same thing here. If you leave both of these, you've got to land on them perfect in order for it to work. And that's the reason why I'm removing one of them right now. And now you want to look at what balls connect to each other. So I've already talked about the pivot ball. I'm going to use the 7 as my key ball. I wouldn't have to. You can use the 9, as I've already talked about. You could also perhaps make the 6 ball your K2. Then you're shooting this shot as your key ball, and you come 2 rails around. That's not nearly as good as having your key ball over here and going 2 rails around, because it's easier to control. This one's, the 11 ball is much harder to control. So I want this to be my pivot ball. So I need this angle on my key ball. What do I always say? How do you find your K2 ball? You look diagonally from the pocket that you're going to put your key ball in. That tells me this is my K2 ball. How am I going to play position on that? It has to be the 8. Because you can have a lot of margin error, a lot of margin for error to get on the 8, draw back and have a shot on the 6 in the corner. Or you could come down here and shoot the 6 in the side and get on that key ball. So from here, the pattern is 11, 9, 8. And if you see a different way to do it, let me know in the comment section. But I think once I got position on the 2 ball over here, everything was kind of laid out. I think this is the optimal way to go. But notice how the planning for it begins right after you shoot the break shot. That's in the cases where you don't have a rebreak and the balls are pretty well separated. So this is ideal. Shot line to the 8 balls here. Well, I didn't draw a straight line, but so I want to keep the cue ball below that line like that so that I have a straight drawback. Now, this one's critical because if you end up on this side of the 6 ball, the whole plan is lost. straight in. You'd love to be straight in, but honestly, just get to this side of the shot line so that your cue ball goes to the rail. That's going to be your highest percentage play to get the correct angle on the cue ball. Do not fool with trying to get straight in on this cue ball. Just pull it back over here. Now I'm going to walk over and look what angle I want. I have a little bit too much angle, and I was considering using some inside English to just turn the cue ball down so I had this angle on the cue ball, but I came a little bit too far. So instead, I played to come on the other side of the shot line, because then you can follow two rails this way, or you can go straight up and down. And I don't do this very often, but I've done this recently quite a few times. I'm just coming straight up table off the bottom rail. It's a little bit tricky. The key to this is I'm in the way right now. The key to that shot is you generally don't want to use a lot of English. I've done it in the past where I've used left English when I'm on this side of the ball, because when the cue ball goes to the rail, I'm afraid I'm going to come off the rail and hit the break ball. So I used left English to try and come straight up, and I ended up using too much and coming here and don't have a break shot. So you've got to adjust what part of the pocket you're hitting and how high your Q-tip is above the cue on the top of the cue ball in order to gauge getting the cue ball straight up table. Don't fool with any left or right if you can avoid it. And then you're going to have the best chance of getting straight in, as I did here. So this is a pretty ideal angle. You saw me I'm taking a lot of time on this break shot. And what am I doing? What does that mean, taking a lot of time? It means visualizing. I'm literally seeing this yellow line in my mind and seeing the ghost ball in my mind. And then the first step before you get out on the shot is my right foot gets planted. Well, not there, but my right foot gets planted on that line, because everything else about the stance follows the right foot, left foot if you're left footer. And that's how you're going to make this break ball consistently, is ensure that everything is perfectly aligned, so that all you have to do is let the cue fall forward and the ball goes in the hole. Cueing below center here, of course. And that wasn't a powerful draw stroke. It was just caroming off those balls up table. So everything was under control. It's nice and smooth. I've got, let's see, how many shots do I have? I have 1, 2, 3 shots. Yeah, that's about it. I got 3 shots to choose from. Golden. Didn't have to smash the break shot in order to open the balls well enough to continue into the next rack. So I hope you like that. I think I'm repeating myself, but that's a good thing. Each of these racks is a different example of the same concepts. And I think that's a good thing. So I hope you got something out of that. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. If you're going to play straight pool, play it straight. See you next week on Rack of the Week. Bye.